Hello, my impatience. It is I, Andrew the Android Koloski. I'm live and I'm ready to perform for all of you. How art thou? I hope you will join and engage with me. How art thou, my impatience? How art thou? So, come filing in. I need you to be at my beck and call. When I beckon, you need to arrive and engage with me. I want you impatience at my beck and call. I know Rusty's probably saying, he's shaking his fist angrily, like Arthur the Aardvark. He's shaking his fist. He's like, you better not go live, boy. You better not go live. Arthur is just shaking his fist. And Rusty is shaking his fist like Arthur the Aardvark. He's like, you better not go live. If you do, I might get physical with you. But maybe not a lot of people are going to join here because it is indeed Easter, and a lot of people are doing things on Easter. So far we're about 2 minutes in. We have got literally zero people having joined. So, that's a really low number. That's a really small number. 0. They say 1 is the loneliest number. 0 is like literally nothing. But I guess I would be 1. So I'm like the loneliest person here. So, but I'm the performer. I'm the guy you gotta just look at and gawk. So now we got 1 person in the house. Let's see if this person interacts with me. Let's see if this person interacts with me. So my buddy Tara Social plans on becoming a pop star. And I told Tara, when you do become a pop star, cover one of my songs. I mean, she already has, but I said, cover one of my songs, and maybe I could be like the Vaselines. If you're unfamiliar with the Vaselines, Nirvana, a really popular grunge act, covered 3 of their songs: Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam, Son of a Gun, and Molly's Lips. And all the money the Vaselines made was because Nirvana, the royalties from Nirvana, for the most part. And, that's how I want to be. I want to attach my name to a pop superstar, Tara Social, and I want to collect the royalties. Basically, my whole existence is going to be collecting royalties from Tara Social covers. That's my dream in life. So some people want to hear what do you think Tara Social's best cover of mine is? I've got the evidence. Dave says those songs are going to make Tara popular, but they're her songs now, buddy. Sorry. Well, she credits me, and maybe it's the honor system here, but obviously, I wrote the song, lyrically at least. I don't consider Tara Social to be my enemy, but if she got popular from one of the songs I wrote the lyrics to, I would certainly try to get the writing credit. I mean, because I definitely need the money. And I have evidence that I wrote it, because it's probably dated on my YouTube. So he says, she got them AI copywritten, buddy. What, really? People are ripping me off? I mean, come on, don't rip me off. What does that mean? People are ripping me off? She had nefarious intent to rip me off and steal my songs. That's no good. I mean, I like to think people didn't have nefarious intent. I trust Tara here. I trust people had good intentions. I mean, I wrote the songs. I put a lot of. No, I mean, like, so I want. I mean, if she gets famous for my songs, I certainly want the royalties for it. I mean, or at least half the royalties, or at least some royalty money. I don't know. Well, whatever. I know people in the United States of America are cutthroat and want to make money for themselves, but at the end of the day, to rip off some disabled adult child who has less than $1,000 to his name, who's making these little songs and get yourself famous from it, that's pretty shitty. I mean, I don't think Tower would do that. Somebody says, bro, do you not realize what she is doing? What is she doing? I mean, why doesn't anybody help me? Like, why doesn't assuming she's ripping me off, why doesn't somebody help me? Why doesn't somebody try to why doesn't somebody try to help me? I mean, assuming she has nefarious intentions. I'm not saying she does. Taylor says you won't let anyone help you. So she's stealing my songs and it's going to be seen as the writer of them, or what's going on here? I don't understand. What are you saying? I mean, I don't want to be ripped off. Patrick says Tara Social is not real, Andrew. All right, whatever. I mean, I like her covers, but they're covers, I mean, they're renditions of my, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I like her. I mean, she's friendly. She's putting effort into my songs. I don't want her to rip. I mean, I would even give her co-writing credit, but I don't want her to rip off, work. I put a lot of work into my songs, So Tara's not my friend. She's just ripping me off. Rusty says, "LOL." Like, what's going on here? Like, I thought Tara was my friend. I like Tara, and if she wants to cover my songs, I mean, believe it or not, I'm not really, I'm not really, I mean, it's obviously I'm not really, money hungry, but at the end of the day, I wrote this shit. You know what I mean? No, and it's not shit. It's good gold. I wrote this gold. So I mean, if she wants to cover my songs for fun, that's fine. If she wants to make money from my songs, that's fine too. However, I think I should get some credit. You feel me, dog? You feel me? Rusty says no credit for you. Why not? Why wouldn't I get credit? Yeah, I have less than $1,000 in my name. I don't have much money, I mean, if somebody's ripping off a disabled man child, that's pretty shitty, But I like to think Tower's my friend and has good intentions here. I mean, so I know people are saying she's fake. So he says they aren't ripping you off of something that was never bringing you money. still, somebody says stealing from people who ride the Dookie bus is bad. It's going to be Tara Social stealing from people who ride the Dookie bus tour, ripping off the Dookie bus. Yeah, yeah, stealing from vulnerable mental patients is pretty shitty. I thought Tara was my buddy. I liked her covers, I genuinely liked her covers. I liked her music, and if she wants to be my friend, and she wants to cover my songs, that's fine, But if she's ripping off people who ride the Dookie bus just to make herself rich, that's pretty shitty, But I don't think any money's going to be made. But frankly, I wrote the lyrics. I'm looking to make friends and not enemies, really. I'm looking to make friends and not enemies. And I considered her a friend, especially because she was covering my songs and putting a lot of effort into it, So I considered her to be a friend because of how much she was, putting into stuff. And, I hope that there were good intentions here, Rusty says Biggie and Tupac were once friends. Somebody asks me, are you on medication right now? Yes, I'm on Abilify 10 milligrams. So what are you saying, Rusty? We're going to get into a rap war where we both wind up getting murdered? What are you saying? I'm going to get into a rap war with Tara Social, and it's going to be and we're going to be like Tupac and Biggie. Is that what you're saying? Who's going to be Biggie Smalls? Who's going to be Tupac? Somebody says drop a diss record. Now I like Tara Social. I hope her intentions are good. I once said, obviously on the West Coast they got, I think it's called Best Foods mayonnaise. On the East Coast we got Hellman's mayonnaise. So we're gonna get into a rap war. I'm not gonna say where Tara Social lives because I'm gonna respect her, but let's just say she lives in California, which she doesn't. She's all about Best Foods mayonnaise. I'm all about the Hellman's Real mayonnaise, and we're gonna get into a rap war and. I don't know. To get murdered over music, that's pretty intense, It's pretty intense. The mayonnaise wars. We're gonna get into the mayonnaise wars. So he says, "What if Tara Social is actually your brother fucking with you?" I don't think my brother knows how to compose music. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't know what he does. Maybe he learned how to compose music. I don't know who, but. Somebody says they took Abilify but couldn't tolerate it. They were depressed, even at 7.5 milligrams. So what are you saying? Come off my Abilify? No, I guess that's not what he's saying. I guess he was saying he didn't like Abilify 7.5 milligrams. I don't think anybody would say coming off my Abilify is a good idea, though. Yeah, I think that was kind of a reckless thing to say to me, how you felt depressed on 7.5 milligrams of Abilify. Even if it's true, which I'm sure it is, you probably should have just not said anything. Somebody says if the gun didn't kill Biggie, his heart would have. No, I get that they're sharing their experience, but often in mental health recovery groups and 12-step programs and psychosocial clubhouses, they tell you don't talk about medication, and there's a reason. Because medications work differently for different people. Don't suggest medications. Don't say how medications made you feel poorly. I realize this isn't a mental health recovery group, and you can say whatever you want, but let people experience the medications the way they experience them and have them talk to their doctors themselves. Don't suggest medications. Don't talk about how you can talk about how it makes you feel, but if people say Abilify makes me feel like shit, it makes me feel depressed. If somebody's taken the Abilify, you might make them stop their meds. It's not a smart thing to say to somebody. I'm not saying I'm going to stop it. I'm just saying, if you go up to people in mental health recovery groups and say that, it's not a good thing to say. I was trying to tell people how, I didn't like certain meds and how meds made me feel. And like, no cross talking and don't talk about your medications. I wasn't doing it intentionally for nefarious reasons, but they tell you in mental health recovery groups, it's don't talk about it. Let it be between them and their psychiatrist. So it says, we're not in a mental health recovery group, so all is fair. Yeah, good point, but, we're not in a mental health recovery group, so he can say whatever he wants, but still, it's, if you're telling me 7.5, it's just, yeah. So he says, start calling people bitch ass to Tara Social. I don't know. I still want to think Tara Social is my buddy. So start calling Tara. Yo, Tara Social, you betrayed me? You're ripping me off? Well, I'm going to cap you, bitch ass. Boop! Hey, I feel uncomfortable saying that word. I don't want any evidence of me saying the N word. So that might literally get me into a rap war where I get shot. So I'm going to abstain from saying the N word. But then again, I feel like, I get that it has its roots in slavery. I know I made a video about this before, and people say it in a critical and derogatory way, and if somebody isn't using the N word to bully you or bully anybody, why give the word such power? Like if I'm doing it to pay homage to Biggie Smalls and I'm not talking down to anybody, like why shouldn't I be able to use the word? You know what I mean? I could see if there was somebody who I didn't like and I started using the word at the person and was bullying the person. Okay, yeah, in that situation, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be using the N word. That's racist. That's bad. But if I'm using it to pay homage to Biggie Smalls to make a joke about a rap war between me and Tara Social, I get that the word has roots in slavery, but that's giving the word power. Why not just take away the word's power? I'm not going to say the word because of how taboo it is, how controversial it is. Dead Cops says I'm an African American and I give you, the permission to say it. I don't want to say it. Somebody says, pay homage to Biggie Smalls, say the N word. I don't want to, they make the word so controversial. Although Puff Daddy, is in jail for running like a sex trafficking ring. He was always the hype man for Biggie, but yeah, that didn't end well. Puff Daddy. P. Diddy. Puff Daddy. P. Diddy. What exactly happened there? Yeah, I guess he was doing sex trafficking. Somebody says, you said how you don't think you should. I don't want to be the. I think it should be, African Americans who say, you know what, let's take away the power of the word and let, Caucasian people say it to pay homage to Biggie Smalls. I don't want to be the one who sets the precedent of using the N word. I don't want to be the one who's like, I'm the one who's taken away the power of the N word by paying homage. You don't want to be that guy. Somebody says, say it, take away the power. I mean, I get the word was negatively used. It has its roots in slavery. People were criticizing people, reprimanding people. It was used in a derogatory way. But also, like if you're, somebody says, take back the power. Say the N-word, Andrew. I'm not going to. I apologize, guys. I know you really want me to say the N-word, but I'm not going to say it. I don't want to. Somebody says you already ruined your fucking chance at working for the Disney Corporation or any career really. So why not just be? You already create spicy content. Why not just say the N-word too? Why not be the guy who really saves the world and takes away the power of the N-word? Taylor said, nobody said that. I said it. The voices in my head said that, Taylor. So you might as well be the guy who uses the N-word too, Andrew. You already show the fruits of your body. You might as well use the N-word too. Somebody says, just walk into your mother's part of the house and pull a Vince McMahon. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean by pull a Vince McMahon? Say, hey, Mom. Well, what do you want me to do? Hey, Mom, I demand some food. Like, what do you mean by pull a Vince McMahon? That could mean a lot of different things. Make her kiss my ass. What do you mean by pull a Vince McMahon? Oh, Google Vince McMahon N-word. All right. Oh, yeah, Vince McMahon said the N-word. That's true. To Booker T, right? Oh, no, to John Cena, and Booker T said, tell me he didn't just say that. Yeah. Yeah. He says, what's going on? Because Cena was a white rapper. And Booker T's like, oh, tell me Vince didn't just... But Vince McMahon's a billionaire, and he could kind of say whatever he wants. Or maybe he was a millionaire. I don't know. He says he was a billionaire. Me, I'm trying to make that money. Somebody says, say the N-word for... I mean, guys, I'm just not gonna say the N-word here. I get that you want me to take away the power of the N-word and end racism and be a hero to the society, but I'm just not going to say the word. Somebody says, it's Hitler's birthday, it's Easter, it's 420, say the N-word, Andrew. Maybe you can, say the fucking N-word, Andrew. Somebody says, Andrew is afraid of power. Andrew's going to end racism on 422. They say the N-word for 420. Somebody says, don't be subjugated for society. Andrew's going to bring peace to the earth and end racism by saying the N-word on April 20th. Is Hitler's birthday really 420? Hitler, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a pussy. I'm a pussy, guys. I know you want me to be the edgy, shock jock who says the N-word, but I'm just not going to. I know you want me to be the edgy guy who uses the N-word. I'm just not going to pull the trigger on this. Somebody says calling Hitler the N-word cancels it out. That is smart thinking, but I don't got balls, guys. I don't got balls. You should know I'm a coward. As Erie would say, she would say, "Yes, you do, Andrew, and you got cysts." Yeah, somebody says you've got balls, Andrew. Anybody who goes on OnlyFans can see them, and they got there's acne on it. So Lily asks, did I like the poem she sent me this morning, or did I think it was weird? To be honest with you, Lily, I didn't see the poem. Did you send it to me on Discord? Let me check it out. Easter Peeps? I didn't actually get your poem, Lily. I didn't actually see it. Where did you send it to me? I'm taking a look for it now on Discord. It was in the general chat of Discord. Okay, let me check it out. Oh yeah, I'll read to you Lily's poem. Do you want me to read it to you? I'm going to read to you Lily's poem, and I'll share it for you guys to read too. Here we go. Okay. I'll share it. In the realm of memes and viral trends, there thrives a man who never bends. Andrew Koloski, with humor so vast, crafts silly songs that forever last. He claims he's pharmacologically abused, yet his laughter leaves us amused. A Stony Brook graduate, sharp and keen, on his TikTok, YouTube, he's always seen. His Instagram stories, a daily delight, showcase his sloth, piggy bank in sight. A shared treasure both of cherished and dear, a symbol of friendship crystal clear. With a penchant for Asian women he confides, in his post where his true self resides. Across Reddit, TikTok, his presence is known. In the digital world, he's fully grown. So here's to Andrew with laughter and grace, a content creator who lights up the space. May his sloth piggy bank always be full as he continues to entertain us all. A love poem. How cute. Yeah, I kind of butchered it a little bit in my reading, but I tried my best, Lily. What did you think? Lily said, oh my God, I read your poem, Lily. La 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 la. What do you say? Oh my God about it? I mean, anything bad or anything good? OMG caffeine, 0 milligrams of caffeine? Or, oh my God, he read my poem? Or is there another thing here? All right. I mean, it seems like the live stream has frozen. Yeah, we got 11 people, but everybody's comments have kind of stopped here. Oh, Taylor's still here. Taylor says, I am here. Taylor is here. And Rusty's still here too. All right. La 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 la. What's for dinner tonight? I'm not really sure. I had a pretty big lunch: pierogies, kibasi, and a bagel. I'm not really sure. Rusty says, I'm waiting for you to pull a Terry. Are you talking about Terry Bollea or Hulk Hogan? And you want me to go on a racist rant? Is that what you're hoping for? That's not going to happen, guys. Frankly, I'm not really racist. I mean, even if I was to sincerely go on a racist rant, like, what would you want me to say? You know, like, I mean, the only way I would use a word maybe is if somebody was sadistically bullying me and really like being an asshole to me, and I wanted to just I wanted to retaliate and just piss them off in some way. Like, that would be the only way I would use it, and I would probably not even use it then. You know, like, in a situation where somebody was bullying me and saying hurtful things to me and like, that would be really the only situation I would use it. And even then, you know, I still probably wouldn't use it. You know, even then, I still probably wouldn't use it. I mean, it would. Yes, the dead cop says, if I start bullying you, calling you a dumb Polak, saying, you're going to get cancer, and you start slapping me and humiliating me day after day, maybe at some point, maybe I might say, the word maybe. Somebody says, we will support you in that situation. If I'm getting bullied, maybe I might say the word, and I'll try to make sure there's no recording devices around. But I won't say it unless somebody's calling me a dumb Polak and like saying you're gonna get cancer. You were farmer, unless somebody's like doing shit like that and slapping me and grabbing my nipples. Unless somebody let's say somebody keeps doing that to me, I'm not gonna say it otherwise. So that's a very specific scenario. Yeah, I mean, like, that's real. I mean, basically, I'm not, it's because the person's an asshole. You know what I mean? And you want to say something hurtful to him because he's a shithead. You know what I mean? It's not because I look down on anybody. It's because, you want to fucking piss the person off for pissing you off. Somebody says, what if a black person tried to give you HIV? Would you call them the N-word? Yeah, that's a good situation where I might say it. Yeah, if somebody intentionally tried to give me HIV, I might say the N-word to them in that situation. Maybe not. I like to be a goody two shoes, a man of high class, and But I think that's an appropriate situation where you can use the word. I mean, but I believe in rising above hate. I'm like John Cena here. Rise above hate. Don't be low class. Don't say hurtful words. I mean, if somebody tries to give you HIV, or if somebody's calling you a dumb Polak, laughing at you that you're going to get cancer and mocking you mercilessly, I mean, obviously you want to stoop to their level and say hurtful things and mean things too. But rise above hate. I know. Be a star. Be above bullying. I don't know. So he says, John Cena is going to say the N-word tonight at WrestleMania. Just you watch. I guess so. So he says, do you think your mom uses the N-word in secret? Or do you... I don't know. I don't. I don't. Just yeah. Let's change the topic from the N word here. Let's change the topic from the N word. We've exhausted this topic. Yeah, my father used to always say things like, "Oh, they should, have the wrestlers use names like HIV, or have the wrestlers, I don't know, what are some like controversial things, or have somebody come out as Zombie Benoit." I'm like, Dad, yeah, if you really had Zombie Chris Benoit wrestling, somebody with a gimmick, the advertisers would be upset, the shareholders would be upset, Netflix would be upset. People would stop advertising and buying the merchandise. The money would quickly disappear. I get like if you're like ECW and you don't have to answer to shareholders and money, and you have a bunch of like virgin 18-year-old fans who are men who are rabid. Okay, you can name your wrestler Zombie Chris Benoit and HIV. But if you're trying to sell tickets to a big promotion, naming your wrestlers HIV and Zombie Chris Benoit, you're just going to get the advertisers pissed off. A wrestler named AIDS. Zombie Chris Benoit versus AIDS. Yeah, the advertisers, the McDonald's and Taco Bell and the video game companies won't want to advertise during WWE anymore if they started doing that. And Snickers won't advertise anymore. Snickers would be like, I don't know, I don't want to advertise with the company that has a wrestler named Zombie Chris Benoit and AIDS. No more Slim Jims. Dead Cop says, I'm going to name a wrestler the N-word. Yeah. That would be another one that would probably get the advertisers pulled. So yeah, you got to be careful. I know wrestling has has tried to be controversial with like Muhammad Hassan. That was pretty edgy. Muhammad Hassan was pretty edgy. What are some other like Crime Time was pretty edgy. Some people. I know it was a parody of. That could borderline on racist. What else was pretty edgy? A lot of the Vince Russo stuff, probably wouldn't fly today. In like the Attitude Era. So this is Vince McMahon wanting to get intimate with his daughter. Yeah, incest probably wouldn't fly today. Katie Vick probably wouldn't fly to. That was shit to begin with, but Katie Vick probably wouldn't fly today. So this is, are you watching WrestleMania? I don't think I have Netflix. The Godfather, a pimp. Val Venus is another one. Val Venus wouldn't fly today. So this is, it's on Peacock. Yeah, if they had Zombie Chris Benoit wrestling AIDS, I think, frankly, Peacock would say, "All right, enough. We're canceling your show." Zombie Chris Benoit. Zombie Chris Benoit versus AIDS. Owen Hart versus zombie Owen Hart versus zombie Benoit. But obviously, zombie Owen Hart would have to be the good guy, and zombie Chris Benoit would have to be the bad guy. And like Eddie Guerrero, like Eddie Guerrero is a good wrestler who died. Owen Hart is a good wrestler who died. So they'd be the baby faces, and Benoit would be the bad guy. Benoit would be the heel. Everybody would be booing, boo, when you heard the Crippler music hit. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I know this didn't happen. I'm not saying it happened, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, Chris Benoit faked his death. And that would be a real, because it was reported on news networks like CNN, Fox News, and it was a real media shit show, the double murder suicide. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, Chris Benoit faked his death, his music hits, and he comes walking out. Imagine the reaction of boos he'd get. It would be just like, actually, Vince McMahon faked his death, and that was the storyline right before Chris Benoit killed his family. Actually, seriously. Wow, that was completely unintentional. Yeah, actually, that was literally the storyline they were going with prior to Benoit actually killing killing his family in real life. Yeah, so they were doing that story. I mean, believe it or not, sensationalism. Like, everybody's like, oh, this is just sensationalism and fiction, and then if it happens in real life, it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, I get blurring the line between fantasy and reality, and I know Vince Russo liked to keep kayfabe alive and stuff, but when double murder suicide happens, yeah, you can't fake that. Hey, Gina, how you doing? Somebody says, I don't care. Just give us decent stories with Gina. We got Gina in the house. How art thou, Gina? Gina says, I'm good. How are you? I'm doing good, Gina. No, I wasn't about to say the N-word. People were trying to get me to say the N-word, but I wasn't about to say it. I never even thought about saying it for a minute, Taylor. You're lying. Gina says she's cleaning up and relaxing. How's your Easter, Gina? Is your Easter going well? All right, guys. I don't really know what to do. I don't have any plans for today. I don't really have any plans for tomorrow. I got the art class or a foot doctor appointment on Tuesday, so I got some plans for Tuesday. We got the washing machine jingle going. This is call your parents and sing them a song. No, it's not. It's not. It's not the wash. It's the dryer. My wash is done. My wash is done, Rusty. So there'll be no entrance here. There'll be no entrance. right, guys, I think I'm going to get going here. Peace out. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon. I know I don't mean to leave when Gina just got here. You know, Gina says she thought she washed clothes until she started watching my live streams. And then she realized, no, Andrew washes clothes multiple times a day. And happy Easter. Rusty says, do an hour. All right. I can do an hour. That's only 15 minutes left. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. Are you religious, Gina? Are you religious? My parents cooked pierogies. Well, yeah, they cooked pierogies. They got kibasi and made me a bagel. So. You know, Gina says she's a Christian, but do you believe in religion? Do you believe in church and the religious message? You know, I've kind of, I don't know. You know, Gina says she believes in God. Okay, cool. If it works for you and you have good intentions and, you know, yeah, I mean that's a wonderful thing. You seem like a good person and a genuine person, and good. I'm happy. I'm happy for you that you found, that. I'm a little skeptical based on all the religions there are, based on how there's no scientific evidence. But I get that they say it's faith and you got to believe, and I don't know. Somebody says, obviously try to trust your parents. Stop getting delusions about your parents. Go in there. Say to my parents, I love you guys. Realize they're not lying to me. I see you, Marijuana Therapy. I see you. Marijuana Therapy asks, how are you, Andrew? I'm doing all right. He says, whew, I'm glad I'm not banned. Yes. So he says, happy 420. Yeah, we said earlier, Taylor, that it was Hitler's birthday. It was Easter. It was 420, the marijuana holiday. And it was the day I ended racism. It was the day I ended racism once and for all. Taylor says, you didn't end racism yet, Andrew. You didn't end racism yet. All right, guys. I think on that note, so he says, sing happy birthday to Hitler. No, Hitler was a bad person. Hitler did some nefarious things. Not even some nefarious things. That's putting it lightly. Hitler did genocide and is regarded as one of the worst people in history. Yeah, I think that sums it up a little bit better. Some nefarious things would be like Benoit. It'd be like, yeah, that's some nefarious things. Hitler is genocide and is regarded as one of the worst people in history. Now, somebody says they're having marijuana while. Somebody says Donald Trump loves Hitler. I know some people say that. I know some people have that narrative, but is that actually really true, though? I mean, I don't think that's really true. I know some people say Trump loves Hitler, and so does Elon Musk, and so does. I know everybody wants to push that narrative, but I don't think Trump really likes Hitler. I think people just want to connect him to Hitler. They want to say he's like Hitler. I don't think he really, ever said that, though. I mean, obviously that, I mean, anybody who gets connected to Hitler will be seen as nefarious because, and I think Elon, doing the Nazi salute was trying to take away its power, kind of like Yeah, I don't know why Elon did the Nazi salute. Quite frankly, that was kind of peculiar, wasn't it? I mean, that's a bad sign. I realize we're very far removed from the 1940s. We're very far removed from World War II, and you know, I mean, we're very far removed from concentration camps and genocide, and but doing the Nazi salute is kind of like saying the N word. Somebody says no. I mean, we are kind of. I mean, no, nobody. I mean, we are kind. I mean, we are kind of far removed from it. I mean, it's like it's almost 100 years ago now, but still. I mean, I mean, somebody says you can save us from Nazis and racism if you do the Nazi salute while repeating the N word. No, I don't think I'll be doing that, Patrick. Somebody says the Nazi salute is way different than the N word. Yeah, I mean, if you do the Nazi salute in a buffoonish kind of way, it kind of pokes fun at it and makes fun of it. I don't know. The Nazi salute is similar to the N word in a way, though. It's definitely a controversial pose. Somebody says, "What do you think of the number 6 million, Andrew? What's significant about 6 million? Is that the number of people that died in World War II?" I don't know. I mean, I think genocide's bad. I think concentration camps are horrible. I think the people that died in the concentration camps lived through unimaginable suffering. I'm not saying Hitler was obviously regarded as one of the worst people in history for what he did. So, nobody's praising Hitler here. Nobody's. I mean, unless you're Kanye West, and I don't know what the hell he was talking about. How could you even make an argument that Hitler was good? You know what I mean? I mean, somebody says, "All kidding aside, Andrew, we should take you should take both your medications tonight. You should take your Abilify and you should take your Lamictal." Yeah, I mean, was Kanye West trying to be like a shock jock comedian, a shocking comedian, or does he really believe what he's saying? I have a hard time thinking he's believing it. I think he's just trying to be shocking for the sake of shocking. He's just not a good comedian. That's basically what I'm thinking. I think he's just a shitty, shocking comedian. He's trying to be like Howard Stern. He's trying to, but I think that's what I think, unless he really believes what he's saying, but I don't think so. Somebody says Kanye is extremely mentally ill. Even so, though, I'm extremely mentally ill, and I don't talk about, supporting the Nazis and racism. I mean, it's peculiar, and he's older than me too. He's older. You think he would have learned by now? Somebody says you do talk about your mother getting off sexually to you, which is kind of just as bad. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, saying your parents get off sexually to you is I guess you're right. I guess you're right. That is kind of bad. Somebody says yes. Somebody said Patrick says Kanye isn't taking his medication, so you could be him if you don't take yours. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna hit the old dusty trail here. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Talk to you again, my amigos and amigas. Somebody says Andrew needs to release Graduation first. All right, guys. Peace out.